could be safe and warm at home tonight, but instead I'm out here with you.
That's what makes you such a good friend.
No, that's what makes me a nervous wreck. If I faint tonight, I'm totally blaming you, Ro.
You're not gonna faint, Sally.
I'm dizzy already. I won't make it 15 minutes in that house. Why'd you have to make that bet with Jack?
I was trying to show Arthur I had confidence he could make that kick. I'm class president. It's my job to be a booster for the football team.
It wasn't your job to get me roped into a bad bet.
What's so bad about going in there and being bored for 15 minutes?
Because we're not going to be bored. This is Enshaw House. It's totally haunted.
It's not haunted. There's no such thing as...
A ghost!
It's just fog.
Then why are you following it? Did you see that?
That light?
Bro, don't you dare go down there.
Feeling a little jumpy, Sally?
Why are you so mean, Jack?
I'm just making sure you two aren't gonna squirm out of this bet.
We're not. We're ready to go to the house.
I think Arthur should have to go in with us. He missed that kick and cost us the game.
That's right, buddy. You did cost us that game.
I'll go in. I got no problem with the ghost of old man Henshaw.
Then let's get this over with.
I better not see you come out before 15 minutes is up.
So Ezra Henshaw was a lumber baron, and he built this house for his new wife. But less than a year after they got married, she died of something,
Scarlet fever.
whatever. So she was dead, and old Ezra was never the same. Locked himself in here till he died too.
Poor Ezra.
Now he's a ghost, wandering this house, looking for his bride.
Ignore him. Just trying to scare us.
What was that?
Ezra's ghost!
How was Jack? I know his voice.
Get out? Ro, the ghost doesn't want us here. We have to go.
It's from the Amityville horror movie. Not very original. Who came up with that, Arthur? You or Jack?
You think we put that there?
I can smell the fresh paint. I'll show you, Sally. I must have tripped something. Looks like some secret passageway.
Oh, like in the movies.
Shut it, Ro. You don't know what could be back there.
It's stairs leading down.
Down to where?
I don't know. But I'm gonna find out.
Ro, wait. We've seen it. Let's go. Oh. Dead body! Sally, don't be such a... It wasn't me. That was...
It was Arthur.
So, the guy who'd eventually become a homicide detective screamed and ran away when he saw a dead body?
I'd never seen a dead body before. It was pretty scary.
It was terrifying.
I know you told me that story before about finding a body, but I don't think you told me who it was.
His name was Frank Brunelli. He was a local ghost hunter.
A ghost hunter? Like on TV?
Yep.
So who killed him?
Oh, no, he wasn't murdered. He took a fall down the stairs that led to the secret room, hit his head hard, killed him instantly.
I think the ghost of Ezra Henshaw scared him so bad he fell.
I always wondered if it was truly an accident. I remember there wasn't a lot of blood.
Could have been blunt force trauma, more internal bleeding.
True. And there was something about the way his body was lying there. But Lizzie, your talk was great tonight. Hearing about the Amityville murders, it always reminds me of that night.
I thought you brought it up because Aunt Aida just bought the house.
What? My mother bought Henshaw House? Did you know this?
It's the first I'm hearing of it.
Well, you were on your honeymoon.
She plans on finishing the renovations the previous owner started and resell it. I went with her to meet the inspector guy before the sale closed, and I gotta say, there's definitely something weird about that house.
So, Arthur, I'm guessing Halloween isn't your favorite holiday? Probably a little too scary for you.
Okay, go ahead and laugh. I was a pretty gullible kid. I probably did believe in ghosts back then.
Why does believing in ghosts mean you're gullible?
Sally, you know I adore you, but gullible is your middle name.
I can see your wheels turning.
Frank Brunelli was the first mysterious death I ever came across.
Well, if it was an accident, it's not really a mystery.
Well, it is to me. Mystery I never solved.
Not a mystery, an accident.
How can you be sure if you were just a kid yourself?
Does Lawrencetown PD still have files on a case that old?
Well, there'd be no files if there was no murder investigation, which there wasn't. That's how I can be so sure. You're just gonna have to let this one go, Ro.
There's no way she's gonna let this go.
Oh. My mother's gonna be at Enshaw House tomorrow. I can look around.
You want to go back there? There's no way I'd ever go in that house again.
Oh, that's too bad. You know, I was thinking with my mother refurbishing such a historic house, I mean, it would make a great story for the paper.
It's cute, isn't it? The way she's trying to trick me into going back there.
Bet Ro has her in that house for the next 24 hours.
I say 12.
I heard that, and believe me, not even Aurora Teagarden can convince me to go into that haunted house again.
Sally, it's broad daylight.
I don't care. Look, I agreed to write a story. I didn't agree to go inside the house.
What are you gonna do? Interview her right here in the driveway?
Yes, and I would appreciate it very much if you could go inside. Ask
You know
her
what's
to
gonna happen now, Aida? I'm gonna file a complaint against you with the Real Estate Association for ethics violations.
Please do, Tom. I'm sure they will agree that my ethics are unimpeachable.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I guess he doesn't know you're on the board of the Real Estate Association.
Now do you see why I had to buy this house so quickly? And I'm glad you're doing a story on the house, Sally. We have to protect Lawrenceton's historical treasures from developers like Tom Wilkie.
Oh, yes. Speaking of which, I would love to hear more about that.
Well, good. Come on in the house. I'll tell you everything.
Mother, Sally's afraid she might see a ghost if she goes inside.
That's ridiculous. Sally is a seasoned reporter. She's not going to be swayed from doing her job by some silly superstition. The last owner was a corporation that meant to turn this place into a bed and breakfast. But then they went bankrupt before they could finish the renovations, so of course they couldn't sell.
Maybe it didn't sell because it has a reputation for being a place where ghosts roam and dead bodies are found.
Well, that didn't help. But it didn't stop Tom Wilkie from wanting it. I mean, once he realized that there was a deal to be had, I mean, he was going to tear down this house and build one of those dreadful cookie-cutter mansions that he's so famous for.
Excuse me, Ms. Teagarden, would you like me to give you a quote for the island lighting and the cabinet repair?
Oh, yeah, that would be wonderful, Reggie. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Tom Wilkie was furious that I bought the house out from under him. He's actually trying to strong-arm me into selling it to him.
Well, you're the last person who would give in to strong-arm tactics.
Exactly. But there's a lot to be done to turn this place around. Well, first thing is an estate sale. There are a lot of valuable antiques here that could help finance the renovations that need to be done.
Well, that's a fair bit of work.
Oh, well, Philip said that he would help me and catalog everything, and we're going to spend a couple of nights here just to make sure that's accomplished.
Wait, you're going to sleep here?
Well, I have to get familiar with the place. Plus, it will help potential buyers realize that the stories about this place are just that, silly stories.
Secret door still works. I'm going in.
I don't think you should do that. Well, maybe it can be a wine cellar.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. No, these closed-off rooms in these old houses, they're not built to any kind of safety standards. They're death traps. I mean, what you really should do with a room like this is just wall it in.
Maybe, but it might increase the value.
Well, I didn't mean to overstep. I have a couple of questions for you before I write up my quote.
Okay. Just be careful.
Jack thought they ran next door to call the police. Now, will you please get out of your road?
Thank you for coming out, and please don't do that again. One person dying in there is enough. Thank you very much.
I have to say, after what Reggie said, I'm thinking I should probably wall up that room after all.
Oh, well, before you do that, would you mind if Nick and I stay here with you tonight, just so we can poke around?
Of course. No, I'd love the company.
No. No, I am not sleeping here. No. Okay, I'm leaving. Aida, I will call you to schedule an interview. Goodbye.
The story on Frank Brunelli's death. I knew you'd be too curious to leave it alone.
And I knew my husband would be exactly on time to take me to lunch. I want to check something before we go.
Of course you do.
This story says Brunelli was the president of something called the Paranormal Research Society, which is probably long defunct.
Or not. It looks like they still have a website, and it looks like they still meet.
Oh, here's a list of the board of directors. The secretary is Lillian Tibbet. Lillian, we just saw you're a board member of the Paranormal Research Society.
Yes, I've served on the board for 8 years now. I've never made a secret of it.
We're just surprised that you would be a part of anything so woo-woo.
Paranormal research is anything but woo-woo. My grandmother started the Lawrencetown chapter of the society. We follow very strict scientific standards.
Sorry, but I don't think there's a lot of science in indulging in paranormal fantasies.
I'm surprised at you, Nick. As a professor of psychology, you must be familiar with the work of William James.
I am. Yeah, he's known as the father of psychology.
He's also the founder of the society. Here.
Ghost Hunters, William James, and the Search for Scientific Proof of Life After Death. What do you know?
Lillian, have you ever heard of a ghost hunter named Frank Brunelli?
Oh, he was an illustrious member of our society. His death was a shame. I worked with his brother Anthony to procure Frank's papers and preserve them for the society.
His papers? Oh, I'd love to see them. And I'd love to talk to Anthony.
What on earth for?
You know, I found Frank Brunelli's body when I was in high school.
Oh, what body don't you find? That still doesn't explain why.
Rose's mother just bought the house Brunelli died in. Enshaw House.
Did she indeed? For some time, Anthony had enlisted the society's help in trying to go inside Enshaw House, but we were continually rebuffed by the owners.
Oh, well, if you want to meet us at the house tonight, I'm sure my mother would be happy to have you bring him in.
Oh, that would be agreeable. I'm curious about the house myself. I'm going to call Anthony right now.
Lillian is a paranormal researcher. Who would have thunk?
Well, you librarians are intriguingly complex.
Let's get some fresh air in here. Oh, there is a treasure trove of antiques in this room alone. So let's mark the lamps for the estate sale, and the bed, of course, and well, This is a gold mine. But what a forbidding portrait.
Is that Ezra Enshaw, the ghost who supposedly haunts this place?
That's Ezra. But Philip, please, tell me you're not believing in all of this ghost nonsense.
No. You have to admit, though, he does look kind of sinister. Window just slammed shut.
It's just the wind.
If you say so.
I know you and Ro found Frank Brunelli's body, but that was, what, 22 years ago? Why are you asking about it now?
Oh, it came up at Real Murders last night, and it made me curious.
Oh, it made you curious, or Ro?
Anyway, I went through the files we have for the week of Frank Brunelli's death. We have a record of a call by Mona Dilger reporting the discovery of the body.
Who's Mona Dilger?
The lady next door who answered a knock after we stumbled on the body. And I was right. There was no investigation into the death. Medical examiner ruled it an accident the next morning.
So no case filed, as would be expected for an accident.
The only other things on record for that week were a few vandalism calls, a drunken disorderly, and a missing persons report.
So in other words, a waste of time.
Okay, your bum knee is making you ornery.
Me? Ornery?
A little bit.
Hello, Lillian. You must be Anthony Brunelli.
Anthony, this is Aurora Teagarden Miller, my co-worker, and her husband, Professor Nick Miller.
Glad to meet you.
Yeah, we wish it was for a happier reason.
Well, I appreciate you arranging this visit for me. I've always wanted to see where my brother breathed his last. I don't know why exactly.
A lot of people are drawn to do that when a loved one dies unexpectedly. It helps bring a sense of closure.
Well, my closure's been a long time coming.
Shall we go? I assume Aida is expecting us, Aurora?
She is. Yeah. Oh, that's Sally. Did you know she was coming back?
No. You said this was the first time you couldn't talk her into doing something she didn't want to do.
Sally, is everything okay?
Not really.
Oh, here.
Oh, thank you, Nick. So, I made the mistake of telling my editor that my friends were sleeping over in Enshaw House, and he decided to assign me a story to write. My night in Lawrenceton's infamous haunted house.
Hey guys, need help carrying in a can?
That's my mother! Oh my gosh. What happened? Are you okay?
I'm absolutely not okay. Look.
Not again.
This was not here the last time I was in this room, an hour ago. And Philip and I have been in the house the entire time.
And you didn't hear anything?
Not a sound.
So someone broke in and did this kind of vandalism while you were in the house? Pretty brazen.
Brazen ghost.
It could be a supernatural phenomenon. I'd like to take a sample of the substance. Perhaps it's some kind of ectoplasm.
It's blood. I know it.
I'm guessing corn syrup.
Yeah, and food coloring.
That's what it always is. Tricks.
Arthur says he and Little stopped by on their way home from the station.
Okay.
It's just the front door, Sally.
I heard a scream. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes, everything's fine. My mother just had a scare.
Did she see him?
See who?
Oh, hello. I'm Aida Teagarden. I'm so sorry if I disturbed you. And this is my daughter, Aurora. And you are?
Oh, I'm Mona Dilger. You bought Ezra's house.
Oh, yes, but this hasn't been Ezra Enshaw's house for some time.
Dilger, I know that name. You live next door, right? Your husband was here the night we found Frank Brunelli.
Yes, he came over to see if he could help after those boys came by to tell us of my husband, Lyndon.
Oh, you poor thing, you're shaking. Here, why don't you come in and sit down for a little while? Okay, no, we can sit in the parlor.
Sorry, I'm Tamara. I just saw my mom walk through the door.
Oh, yes, I'm Aurora. Please come in.
Oh, I know, it's awful. Someone broke in, but we've called the police, so.
What are you doing here? I'm sorry, I thought that she was in bed.
The neighbors, Tamara and Mona Dilger.
Just look. Why don't we sit down, okay? Right here. Come on. Philip, would you get her some water,
Sure.
please? And Sally, please take Lillian and her guests to the parlor. It's right through there.
Of course.
I'm sorry. My mother has anxiety issues. I moved back home a few months ago to help her. I'll give her a pill as soon as I get her back home.
Is your father able to help her?
Oh, my father died when I was little, a heart attack. My mother hasn't been the same since.
That must be Lynn and Arthur.
Everything's gonna be okay. The police are here now.
I want to go home.
Okay, let's go home, Mom.
I'm going out the back way.
Oh, I'll show you out.
I know the way.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That was strange.
It's not as scary as it looks. We think it's just corn syrup and food coloring.
The past comes back to haunt me. This is exactly what Jack and I did back in high school. Painted a get out to try and scare Sally and Ro.
I knew it.
Oh, come on. You know how Jack could be.
Yeah, you didn't have to be a part of it.
Okay, why don't we leave the past out of it and try and figure out how our culprit today got in undetected?
Philip, you can show me around, see if we can figure out a method of entry.
I'd be glad to.
Ida, if you and Philip were in the house when this happened, then the intruder must have been familiar with the layout, knew how to avoid you.
Mona Dilger from next door was just here. She knew exactly how to find the back door.
Yeah, and what about the contractor who was here earlier? He was walking all over the place.
Reggie Harris.
Is this someone you've worked with before?
No, he called me out of the blue. He said he keeps up on home sales and asked if I'm planning to renovate.
I can't see the motive he would have to scare you if he wants you to hire him. Why wouldn't we assume this is just a bunch of kids playing a prank like Arthur and his friend did?
Because kids don't usually break into houses when people are home.
And what kid would know that same phrase was on the wall the night we found Frank Brunelli?
Ida, can you think of anyone who would have a reason to try and scare you away from the house?
The only person I can think of is Tom Wilkie. He's a developer.
A developer who stormed out of here this morning.
He's angry that I bought the house and I won't agree to sell it to him.
Sounds like motive to scare you.
Well, it's at least a place to start. Do you have contact info for Wilkie?
Yeah, I have his card in the kitchen. You want to just come with me?
Let's go talk to Frank Brunelli's brother. This must be very hard for you, Mr. Brunelli. Seeing the words written on the mirror the way they were when Sally and I found your brother that night.
You're saying the same things were on the mirror the night my brother died?
You didn't know?
There was never an investigation. The police said it was an accident.
Have you ever wondered whether your brother was not a victim of an accident after all?
Well, not until tonight. Not until just now.
So he didn't have any enemies, anyone who might want to hurt him?
A softie like Frank? No.
What about ghost hunters? Anyone who may have seen themselves in competition with him?
I take offense to that question. Serious ghost hunters are highly ethical people, and most are smart enough to work together.
I'd say most are beholden to wishful thinking. Just like my brother. He inherited from my parents and started sinking that money into wild goose chases. And what did it get him? Dead in some secret room beneath the floor.
Anthony, I had no idea you had such a low opinion of paranormal research.
Well, now you know. You know, being here isn't going to give me closure. It's just going to make me feel worse.
Aurora, you have an extraordinarily vexing penchant for causing trouble.
Okay, that was weird.
Oh, Sally Lillian's insulted me plenty of times. I'm insouciant to it by now.
No, I mean Anthony. If this is his first time in the house, how does he know the secret room is beneath the floor?
Maybe it was in the news reports back then.
No, wasn't in the story I read.
This gives me the creeps.
The store's unlocked. There's a car parked over there, behind that rock.
I'll go see if there's anyone in it. Keep an eye on it.
Hey! You, stop! I want to talk to you!
You see who it was?
No. I got his license plate, though.
The last time we saw this on the mirror, there was a body in the secret room.
Ro, don't you dare go back down there. Aurora, what are you doing? We decided it isn't safe to go in there.
I'm just gonna take a quick look, Mother. It's fine.
For what purpose?
Because this same thing was written on the mirror the night Sally and I found Frank Brunelli's body.
Yes, and that prank was pulled by Arthur and his friend. And this prank, just like that one, had nothing to do with Frank Brunelli's death.
How do we know that?
The police department never considered foul play back then. It's always bugged me. Nick, grab a flashlight. One on my phone isn't gonna be strong enough.
I'll be right behind you.
What was that?
Okay, I don't like this.
Sally, it's just an old house creaking.
I'm here, Ro. We're trying to get the door open.
I'm trapped.
The lever's not working.
Yeah, it won't budge. Maybe if we had a crowbar or something.
I'm on it.
You okay, Ro?
I'm fine, honey.
Oh, what now? I really, really don't like this.
The house inspector said that the wiring in this house is very old.
Yeah, or it's a ghost.
And that's ridiculous.
Is it, Lynn?
Found one. All right, let's give this a shot.
Oh, thank goodness.
You all right?
Yeah, I am now. Thanks for getting me out.
We can't take credit for that.
Yeah, the door opened by itself, Ro.
I found this wedged in beside the steps near where Frank Brunelli's body was lying that night. And maybe it has something to do with his death.
Oh, for goodness sake, Aurora, I hope not.
And I sincerely doubt it.
Looks like a bunch of doodles.
Yeah, or a message from the dead.
Well, I, for one, see nothing meaningful there.
Not exactly a smoking gun, is it? Look, Frank Brunelli's death was an accident. Why don't we focus on an actual mystery? Who broke into this house and wrote that message? We're gonna run the plates of the car that Philip saw outside, and we'll let you know what we come up with. Okay. Arthur?
Hey, double check. Make sure all the doors and windows are locked tight before you go to sleep.
You got it.
Well, I'm going to bed. I think this was enough excitement for one day. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, isn't anybody else curious about the rapping noises and the lights flickering? I mean, come on. Lillian investigates this stuff. Why don't we just ask her to come in and check the house out?
I'm sure there's a logical explanation for everything we saw.
And heard, remember?
I'm with Nick. Besides, Lillian wouldn't be in a hurry to help me out again. And my mother would never go for it anyway.
Well, I wish Aida would let her investigate. There's so many strange things going on here, Ro. I'm not gonna sleep upstairs alone by myself in one of those rooms. And if I lose my job because I don't do the assignment, well, I lose my job.
Sally, we are not going to let you lose your job. You can sleep with me in my room, if that'll help.
Oh, here, let me help you with that.
Thank you. I don't want to sleep under Ezra's ominous gaze.
Oh, I don't blame you, Mother. He's a bit grim, isn't he?
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to sleep with that out here because Ezra looks very lifelike and I feel like he's going to reach out and grab me.
Okay. Does that help make you feel any better, Sally?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nick. It totally does. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night, Sally.
Good night.
It's funny how the psychology of things turns everything into the boogeyman.
Didn't mean to scare you. I've been going around checking the locks.
Oh.
I'm gonna miss you tonight.
Sweet dreams, love. I'm gonna go with Philip and follow Arthur's advice and make sure everything's locked up tight. We'll check your room next, Aida.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Good night, darling.
Good night, Mother. Night, Philip.
Night. I think Mona Dilger has issues other than anxiety.
Oh, that poor woman.
Yeah, I'd say early onset dementia. That's rough.
What are these squiggles? Are they symbols?
I don't think you should have brought that in here. What if it's some kind of symbolic ghost language that calls ghosts to us?
I hope you're writing your paranoid thoughts in your story.
You know what I am writing about? The scoffing friend, because we know she's the first to get her comeuppance by the ghost in every ghost movie ever.
You mean that ghost?
You see it? Where is
Sally, I'm teasing.
Oh, but it's really mean, bro.
Too easy.
Creepy vibe in this house is definitely getting to me. It's a self-perpetuating thing. You get a scare, it releases certain chemicals in your brain, which makes you more susceptible to the next scare. Did you turn this painting around? No. Why? Doesn't matter. Try to get some sleep. Something tells me that's not gonna be easy.
What is it?
The music woke me up.
What music?
The music that's playing.
I don't hear any music.
You better get your ears checked.
Where are you going?
Want to find out where the music's coming from.
What music?
tell me you hear that music too.
Yeah, that's a well, yeah.
It's coming from downstairs. What is coming from downstairs?
The music.
Okay, I don't hear any music. You guys are seriously freaking me out. Oh, sorry.
Wait, honey. Did you turn that painting back around?
No. In fact, I had to turn it to face the wall a second time.
Okay, I heard that. Wait, are you telling me that that painting keeps turning itself around?
I'm fine. There's no need to go to the hospital.
No, you need to get this checked out, Nick. This could be a concussion.
Yes. Listen to Mother, honey. I'm going with you.
Can I at least finish giving my statement to Arthur first?
So you didn't see anyone, but you felt someone push you from behind?
Right. Yeah, I stumbled down. I nearly caught myself, but then I fell down the last few steps. Rang my bell pretty good. But I'm okay, really.
Seeing you lying there so still.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I'm fine. It's just a few bruises.
So what were you and Ro and Sally doing in the hall in the middle of the night?
We heard music. It woke us up.
I didn't hear any music.
Neither did I, nor did Philip.
Well, Nick and I heard it, and we were headed down the stairs to find out where it was coming from. And then we got distracted by the painting of Ezra.
The painting which keeps turning itself around?
I was at the top of the stairs, and then I heard a noise behind me, but before I could turn around, someone shoved me.
Or something. It was Ezra's ghost, I'm telling you.
It felt like human hands to me, Arthur.
I'm sure that someone broke into the house again and was almost caught by Nick.
Well, did you see anyone at the top of the stairs?
No, it was dark, and my attention was on Nick. But that doesn't mean someone wasn't hiding there. The question is who and why.
Well, we ran the plate on the car that Philip and I saw outside the house earlier tonight. It's registered to Tom Wilkie, so the obvious answer is it was him, and he wants to scare Aida into selling the house to him.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I just can't help but wonder if this has something to do with Frank Brunelli's death.
Ro, Lynn wants us to focus on the crime in front of us. Criminal trespass and the assault on Nick. We're interviewing Wilkie tomorrow. I'm glad you're all right.
Thanks.
Oh, it's you.
And good morning to you too, Lillian.
You're late.
Oh, I had an eventful evening.
So I remember, much to my chagrin.
Oh, and that was only the beginning.
Aurora, can we please just make it through the day without you burdening me with the banalities of your distasteful life?
Okay, just tell me. How can I look at Frank Brunelli's papers? Do I need to make an appointment with the Paranormal Research Society?
Brunelli's papers are only available to members of the society.
Okay, then how do I become a member?
You pay the membership fee.
Well, couldn't you just loan me the materials as a friend? I'd be happy to pay the membership fee, Lily.
I should think so. And please, leave poor Anthony Brunelli alone.
So, no signs of forced entry.
Every door and window locked. I can't figure out how someone keeps getting in.
Well, you know what? Maybe we're overlooking the obvious. Maybe that someone had a key.
My brother showed me this last year. It's our way in.
Ow.
Key's still there. Now we have the how. We just need the who and the why.
Yeah, I was at Enshaw House last night. I don't deny it.
You were seen running around the back of the house. Why?
I'd been to the house earlier that day to talk to Aida Teagarden. I was frustrated that she wouldn't even consider my offer to buy the house, and I lost my cool.
Well, that seems to be a regular thing for you, isn't it? Losing your cool?
We know you have a record. Several arrests for battery.
Okay, look, I was a hothead in college. I got into a couple of bar fights, but that was a long time ago. I don't conduct myself like that anymore. I felt bad about my outburst with Aida. I was driving back to apologize to her.
So why park on the side of the house? Why not out front?
Because when I got there, Okay, I don't even know how to put this, but there was a smoke, okay, like the wisps of smoke or a fog, and it was circling around the house. So I drove around to try to get a better look.
Okay, if you start talking about ghosts right now, you are digging a deeper hole for yourself. You're basically proving to me that you're the one entering the house trying to scare Aida Teagarden into selling. And you're also the one who pushed Nick Miller down the stairs.
I did not go back into the house last night. In fact, after what I saw, I'm rescinding my offer. I don't want anything to do with that place.
Well, what did you see?
There was like a bouncing light in the trees. So I moved in to get a better look. And then the smoke was back, and it was right in front of my face. It was like it was leading me towards something.
Oh, come on.
I know how it sounds.
Then you know it's ridiculous.
Let me get there.
Oh. Reggie, what are you doing here?
Let me take that for you. I was hoping to hear back from you this morning about my quote.
Oh.
I've got my crew, and they're all ready to get started.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't made a decision about that yet. But I must say, you were right about that room's being dangerous. My daughter got trapped in there last night.
What, she went in the room? Why?
Because she has an insatiable curiosity, which inevitably puts her in precarious situations. But all she got from it was an old piece of paper she found.
What paper?
Oh, nothing of significance. But I am going to have that room sealed off.
Well, you know, I can do that for you. I mean, I could even throw it in for free if you just give me the job.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I do have other contractors.
I guarantee you I can get the job done faster and for less money. I just need an answer right now. Look, don't waste your time talking to other
No,
people.
you can stop right there. I do not tolerate high-pressure tactics, so I will give you an answer now. You are not my contractor.
You are making a huge mistake.
Not as big as the mistake you're making. Let go of my arm.
Hey! You need to remove yourself from this property. Now.
Who was that guy?
Reggie Harris, a contractor that's been bidding on the renovations.
Pretty intense for someone trying to get a job.
I'll say.
Are you all right?
No. What I am is deeply regretting buying this house.
All right, Mr. Wilkie, you said you could show us exactly where this so-called fog was.
Well, okay, first there was the bouncing light, so that was over here, and then the fog drifted in front of my face. So then it started drifting over here.
Philip, could you please tell your cousin to go back inside? I'm trying to conduct an investigation.
Philip, what's going on?
Yeah, we came by to pick up our stuff and saw you guys down here. What's going on?
You probably know what I'm going to say.
That she wants us to keep our distance and stay out of the way. But why'd she drag Tom Wilkie out here? What's he telling her?
Something about seeing a bouncing light out here last night.
You saw the ghost outside?
If he saw a light, I'm sure it was a flashlight.
Wait, a bouncing light? Sally, that must have been what we saw the night we came here to pay up on our bet, a flashlight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When we first got here, remember? We were walking up to the house and we saw the...
A weird fog, I remember that much.
Right, and I was following the fog. And that led over to the bridge, and I saw the light. And I remember exactly where I was standing. I was right there at the corner of the house, so if I was standing there, then the light would have... Right there by the shed.
Oh, boy.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was leaning against the door.
Why would you open the ghost shed? That's terrifying in there.
Wait, do you see that?
No.
No, I do. The bottom of the shed under the rain barrel.
Help me move this.
What is she doing? Trying to make sense of her memory.
Okay, wait. Maybe the bouncing lights were coming from over here.
What on earth are they doing?
That's where it is. That's where the smoke is moving towards, right there.
Okay, I'll go check it out.
Whoa, do you see that?
All right, what are you guys doing?
Oh, that's a human hand.
We just found another body.
Okay, so I know you haven't identified the body yet.
Sally, I know you have a story to write, but we don't have enough information yet for me to comment.
Okay, but could you just tell me if you think this death could be related to the death of Frank Brunelli?
Did Ro tell you to ask me that question?
Oh, no, but I think my editor's gonna ask.
Okay, well, you could tell your editor that we have no idea how long that body's been under the shed. It could have been 2 years or 200.
But the whole reason I was looking there is because I saw someone with a flashlight in that spot on the same night we found Brunelli. That can't be a coincidence.
Correlation is not causation.
Chief, the forensics team found a wallet next to the remains. We've got a driver's license. Someone by the name of Jeffrey Ware.
Sergeant Hurd, we'd appreciate it if you wait till we got back to the station before announcing the possible identity of the victim. Our policy is to notify family first.
Sally, do not put that name in writing until we identify the body. For all we know, this wallet could have been stolen.
Sorry about that, Chief. Got ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Okay, now that the cat's out of the bag, have any of you ever heard that name before, Jeffrey Ware? Does that ring any bells?
No, but if that's who was buried over there, it shouldn't be hard to pinpoint if it was in the same time frame as Brunelli's death.
Check the expiration date on the license.
Ware's license expired just over 20 years ago, so it's possible Roe did see him being buried the night Brunelli died.
We need to put a tail on Wilkie.
You think he had something to do with that body? He'd have only been in his 20s back then.
Yeah, a 20-something with an admitted hot temper. You heard him. The fog led him there. No. He saw that we were about to find that body, and he knew how bad it would look that he was seen running around that area last night. Then he starts blaming it on ghosts.
Well, it could explain why he was so aggressive with Aida about buying the house. He wanted to keep his secrets buried.
Or he was trying to buy himself some time to move the body. I think Wilkie's our most obvious suspect. Now we just need to find a connection between him and this Jeffrey Ware.
Aunt Aida's showing another contractor around later today for a quote. I'll stay until she's ready to go.
Good. That contractor, Reggie Harris, was acting pretty hostile toward her earlier. I don't trust him not to come back.
I can't find anything on a Jeffrey Ware of Lawrenceston. I'll have better luck with the databases I can access at the library.
Okay, so I get that the timing is suspicious, but why do you think that the body outside has something to do with Frank Brunelli's death?
Yeah, if there were 2 murders at the same time, why was one body found inside the house and one outside?
Well, they may have both been killed outside and Brunelli's body brought in here. Then we high school kids showed up and interrupted the killer before he could bring in Jeffrey Ware.
Yeah, killer in a hurry could be why the body wasn't fully buried underground, which is why it was basically shoved under the shed hidden by the rain barrel.
Yeah, but then why didn't whoever did it come back and do it right?
Maybe that's what someone's trying to do right now. We should call a real murders meeting. But first, I need to get to the library.
Yeah, and I need to get to my desk so I can write up the story of another body found. I'll see you guys at the meeting.
I'll go get my eyes on Aunt Aida.
You okay?
I just need to know you're okay.
I'm fine. I promise. The doctor gave me the all clear, remember? Tell you what, why don't I come to the library with you?
Yes, please.
The other contractor's on his way so that we can discuss the renovations.
Cool. Here's some more stuff to take.
Oh.
I'm looking for Lyndon.
Mona, you came back.
Looking for her dead husband.
Would you like to join me for a cup of tea?
Sweet of you.
Okay. Why don't you let Mona's daughter know that she's here?
I know Lyndon is gone. I know a heart attack took him. Tamara was only 5 then.
Oh, how sad for you both.
He was such a good husband. He was always worried about taking care of us. He shouldn't have worried so much. His life insurance took care of us for a very long time.
I'm so sorry. Mom, you really have to stop wandering away from the house.
Oh, you told me to come over here.
You know that's not true. I just got back from my self-defense class.
Oh, right. That music you're playing is so lovely.
Music?
Mom, let's go home. Yeah.
Oh, well, it was nice chatting with you, Mona.
Oh, you too. Thank you for the tea.
Mrs. Dilger, I'd love to know how you came in the back door. I took the key from under the rocks outside, and I've been checking to make sure the door's locked.
The door always opens for me. Ezra lets me in.
Medical examiner said the skeleton is definitely male, probably in his 40s. Cause of death is blunt force trauma to the head.
Same as Frank Brunelli, if Roe's right. I found Jeffrey Ware in our system as a missing person report.
It's not surprising. Date last seen?
The same day Frank was found dead.
Let's see if we can track down Ware's family. Oh, I hate it when Aurora Teagarden is right.
I was right. I just found an old article about Jeffrey Ware. Says his sister reported him missing the same day we found Frank Brunelli.
It's almost impossible to believe the two deaths aren't related.
Yeah. Unless you're Lynn.
Aurora, I asked you not to bother poor Anthony Brunelli.
I haven't.
Then can you please explain to me why he went to the Paranormal Research Society this morning and demanded to have his brother's papers back?
Excuse me, Mr. Brunelli?
What is it you're burning there?
Those are his brother's papers. Mr. Brunelli, I don't understand. I assume this represents his life's work.
Yes. And I should have burnt them in the first place. I should have never let Lillian Tibbet talk me into giving them to the society. The Brunelli name is already enough of a laughingstock.
There's something you need to know. Another body's been found on the Enshaw property.
It makes it more likely your brother was murdered, which means the police will open an investigation.
You could be destroying important evidence right now, so maybe you should stop.
And maybe you should get off my property before I throw you off.
You know we're gonna have to call the police and let them know what you're doing.
Good. Be sure to let them know you're trespassing.
Well, okay. Let's make that call.
Yes, I burned those papers. It was embarrassing having them out there. To know my brother exposed himself as such a fool.
But not too embarrassed to donate them to the Paranormal Research Society 5 years ago.
I didn't think much about it then. But going to the house where he died and remembering the idiotic reason for it made me rethink.
Where were you the night your brother died?
I was at home alone.
Home alone. You sure you weren't with someone named Jeffrey Ware?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh, really? Well, he knew you. We found your ring buried with his body.
That's not my ring.
It's got your initials on it and an inscription that says, "Happy birthday, love, Frank."
And ironically, your birthday is the same day Frank died.
I've never seen it.
It's solid evidence that the death of your brother is tied to Ware's,
We already know you inherited a fair chunk of money when your brother died.
which gives you motive to kill Frank.
It's an expensive ring. Did you give it to Jeffrey Ware as some kind of down payment to help you kill your brother? Then you turned on Ware?
This is insulting. Unless you're going to arrest me now, I am leaving.
I'm probably feeling too confident that Brunelli's our guy.
Hey, why can't cracking a case be easy for once?
I want to tail on him anyway.
Hey, I just found something interesting in Jeffrey Ware's work history.
Okay, so the police just reclassified Frank Brunelli's death as suspicious.
It's more than suspicious. We're pretty sure it was murder.
Yeah, I found this paper near where we found his body.
I don't get what any of that means.
Neither do we. I ran it through some image recognition software at the library and got nothing. This case is complicated. We're looking for someone who probably killed 2 men 22 years ago. At the same time, we're looking for someone who's trying to scare my mother out of Enshaw House and push Nick down the stairs.
Okay, well, that could have been the ghost. I don't care what anyone believes. There is a presence in that house.
I believe you, Sally.
The point is what's happening now might have something to do with the murders way back when, or it might not.
Right, so let's start with the murders. Our top suspect seems to be Anthony Brunelli.
You got that right. Charlie told me they found his ring buried with Ware's body.
That ring is real physical evidence. On top of which, we caught Anthony burning his brother's papers.
There must be something in them that he wants to hide.
I'm gonna talk to Lillian, see if she's read them and knows what's in them. Okay, who's next on our suspect list?
Tom Wilkie.
Right, Tom Wilkie. We have no reason to believe that he has anything to do with Brunelli and Ware's murders, but he is the one most likely to be trying to scare my mother.
He was definitely outside the house when the get out was put on the mirror. He said some weird stuff about seeing ghostly fog and whatever.
Not the usual tactics of a successful developer.
I know Tom from our Chamber of Commerce meetings. I can talk to him, see what I can find out. Pose as a potential client.
Yeah, that's perfect, Lizzie. Okay, next we have Reggie Harris. He's the contractor, and he was all over the house.
He was very uptight about that secret room. He didn't want anyone going down there.
But how could he have anything to do with Brunelli and Ware's deaths? Wouldn't he have been awfully young back then?
Young men are most likely to act violently, and he still seems to have a hair-trigger temper. I mean, I saw him grab Aida's arm yesterday.
Yeah, what's with that? Why be so pushy about doing renovations?
It's a good question.
Okay, then. Who am I missing?
Mona Dilger, the lady next door. She keeps showing up inside the house, says her dead husband wants her to go in.
That's kind of sad.
Remember, Ro? Her husband showed up at the house after we found Frank Brunelli's body.
Yeah, I do remember. He wanted to see if there was anything he could do to help the police when they arrived.
Well, Aida asked me to stop by today to speak with Mona. I'll see if I can dig a little deeper into these visions she's having about her husband. Her dementia could be causing her to feel threatened or frightened, and it's possible that can lead to violence.
Okay, this is our suspect list. I think it's a good time to adjourn.
Tom,
Lizzie, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was on my way to see you. I'm looking for an investment opportunity.
Well then, as you know, you have come to the right place.
So I just have a few questions. I was just thinking... Is that blood?
Mona, I asked Professor Miller to stop by today.
Hi, Mona. So, Aida tells me that you think it's a ghost that lets you into the house. Why do you believe that?
When I walk up to the door, it opens. What else am I to think?
And why do you walk up to the door?
Because my husband tells me to. I mean, in my dreams, he tells me to do things. And sometimes the dreams seem so real.
Our subconscious often tries to speak to us in the language of dreams. Mona, what does your husband tell you in your dreams? Why does he want you to come into this house?
He wants me to find it.
Find what?
I don't know. He won't leave me alone about it. I have to lie down.
Okay, I'll walk you home.
I have had about enough of this ghost nonsense. It's time that I do something about it.
Hey, Philip. Okay, I'll be right there. I'm just walking Mona home now.
Zachary is not just our most respected ghost hunter. I dare say he is the preeminent ghost hunter in the entire Pacific Northwest.
Lillian likes to flatter me.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, Mr. Blank.
Oh, please, call me Zach.
He helped me catalog Frank Brunelli's papers. Whatever we can do to record the knowledge lost when Anthony destroyed them,
Then you both know what was in them?
They were primarily notes on his interviews with various people who lived or worked at Enshaw House.
He also recorded their supernatural experiences and sightings. And there was a lot of material about wisps of fog outside the house.
There was also a detailed history of Ezra Enshaw's life, including his marriage.
He and his bride apparently enjoyed quite the love story until her untimely death.
Did he make any kind of notes about anyone threatening him or having any kind of issues with him?
No, nothing like that.
Were there any mentions of his brother Anthony?
No, I don't see why there would be.
I found this in the secret room of the house, in the crack beside the stairs. Was there anything in those papers that might explain what these symbols mean?
Huh. Now, this is interesting.
Philip, thanks for calling me. So what's up? I came here for my weekly internship for school, and it's been a non-stop parade of suspects.
Like who?
Well, Tom Wilkie, for starters. Apparently, Lizzie saw what looked like blood in the trunk of Wilkie's car when she went to see him. Turned out to be corn syrup and food coloring.
Like what was used to write Get Out at Enshaw House.
Exactly. They have him in for questioning now. I wish they'd have let me sit in. It's fake blood.
Complete with all of the supplies to make it, and a brush covered in it.
I don't know how that stuff got in my car. Somebody must have put it there.
Oh, of course they did.
They brought Reggie Harris in for questioning, too.
Why now?
They found out Jeffrey Ware worked construction.
With Reggie?
Yeah. He's in with Arthur now.
Yeah, I knew Jeff Ware back in the day, but we were friends. There's no way anybody's gonna believe I killed him.
Tell me why you were so aggressive about getting the renovation job on Enshaw House.
Because business was slow. I needed to get a big job fast. Otherwise, I was gonna have to lay off my crew.
They also pulled Anthony Brunelli back in for more questions.
We found the jeweler who sold your brother the signet ring. He confirmed he had it inscribed a few days before your brother's death.
I have no idea. As I've said, I know nothing about that ring.
You were right about Mona Dilger. They should be bringing her in, too. She seems to be tortured by something she's not telling.
I want to know who Lynn and Arthur are leaning toward.
Well, there's Arthur now.
Arthur, do you and Lynn have a working theory of what happened?
We have 4 or 5 theories. That's the problem. Can't seem to rule any of them out. You know, I'd love to know Rose's thoughts on this one. Where's she?
Oh, she's at the library, meeting with a ghost hunter.
Of course she is.
No, sorry. Except for this mark here, which looks like an X. Nothing looks familiar.
Well, I appreciate your time and for coming all of this way. Can't believe I didn't notice this before.
Notice what? What is it you see?
I'll tell you later. Right now, I have to get to the police station. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.
You see why I always experience a stress response whenever I have to share a shift with Aurora Teagarden? Now, why is her mother calling me? Aida?
There's Ro.
You look like a woman on a mission.
Yeah, I need to see Lynn and Arthur. I think I know why Brunelli and Ware were killed and why someone's trying to scare us away from Enshaw House.
Arthur went back to finish his interview with Reggie Harris.
You are free to go, Mr. Harris, but you are not to leave town.
Lynn, I don't think you should let him go until he answers a few more questions.
What are you doing? You don't dictate our interviews, Ro.
See the story about how we discovered Frank Brunelli's body? There's another headline from that same day about a bank robbery in Corinth. The robbers got away with $400,000. The same morning Frank Brunelli was killed, the same morning Jeffrey Ware went missing. You worked with Jeffrey Ware. Was he involved in this robbery?
Okay, Ro.
Did you know about it?
All right, Harris, you have some explaining to do. Let's go. Come on.
This is an interesting connection you've made. You mind if I keep this?
was a huge connection to make.
It would explain a lot.
It would explain everything. If Reggie Harris and Jeffrey Ware robbed a bank together, it could be that Ware double-crossed Reggie, hid the money at Enshaw House.
Yeah, because what better place to hide stolen money than in an abandoned house that most people are too afraid to enter?
Exactly. And who better to guard the money than a ghost?
I could understand how an angry Reggie could have confronted Ware, maybe tried to beat the truth out of him, but how would Frank Brunelli figure in?
Because he was a ghost hunter. He just showed up at the wrong time.
Sally and I showed up at that house on that same night, too. How close were we to being killed?
If we want to make sure no one else dies over that money, we should get back to the house and find it.
Okay. Jeff told me he was planning a bank robbery with a friend of his.
What friend?
He didn't tell me a name. He just wanted me to drive a getaway car. I was 19 years old and he was leaning on me. I told him I would do it, but when the day came, I chickened out. I didn't show up.
Is that right?
I swear to you, I wasn't there, but I heard on the news that the robbery had gone down. And when Jeff didn't show up for work the next day, I assumed he disappeared with the money. And I was relieved not to have to deal with him anymore. I didn't really think about it after that.
So what made you start thinking about it lately?
I ran into Jeff's sister a month ago. And I made a joke about Jeff being on some beach in Mexico, and she didn't laugh. I knew he wouldn't let her think he was dead if he wasn't. She told me that the last time she saw him, he was getting into a car with his buddy, Lyndon Dilger.
The neighbor who lived next to Enshaw House.
That's right.
So you think now that Dilger was Jeff's partner in the bank robbery?
Yeah. I found out he died 2 days after the robbery, and I've been going to his house. I've been watching, and I saw his wife constantly going into the Enshaw house. I thought maybe she was looking for the money, and I thought maybe I could find it first.
Sally, oh, good, you're here. I'll catch you up.
Ro, wait.
What's Lillian doing here?
Your mother called her. They're gonna try and lure out the ghost.
This ghost hunting stuff isn't gonna make it easy to start looking for that stolen robbery money.
Yeah, I'd rather we not be wasting time and energy chasing down boogeymen.
You're certain our investigation will be a waste of time. Isn't such a presupposition rather unscientific, Professor Miller?
Well,
you didn't read that book on William James, did you? Mr. James knew that not all mysteries in life could be solved with the scientific method. And he pitied those who blind themselves to that truth.
Wow. Lillian's kind of deep.
Mother, I know you don't believe there are really ghosts in this house any more than I do.
Which is a flaw in that otherwise perfectly suspicious mind of yours.
Mona Dilger is not a reliable witness. I don't know why you let anything she said get you to call in this sideshow.
Lillian assures me that her team is dedicated to finding the truth. More likely to rule out supernatural activity than to find evidence of it. How is that not a positive?
Well, it would be if the mystery we were trying to solve were about ghosts, but we're trying to solve a double murder, and this is a distraction. Although, maybe if we could get them to help search for the stolen money while we're at it, could be a help.
Stolen money?
Oh, don't worry, I'll fill you in. Ro just told me all about it.
Lyndon told me that he robbed that bank in Corinth with that horrible friend of his, that schemer, Jeff.
Robbed a bank? Mom, are you sure that this wasn't one of your dreams?
My husband had had a heart attack and was dying in my arms. It's seared in my memory, Tamra. He told me he had robbed that bank and buried the money on the Enshaw property.
And killed 2 men in the process. Did he tell you that?
No, he didn't say he killed anyone. At least I don't think he did.
Of course he didn't. The father that I knew would never. He couldn't.
You've been going into Enshaw House quite a bit lately, Mona. Can you tell us why?
In my dreams, Lyndon tells me to go in.
Does he tell you to try to scare Aida Teagarden away from the house? Tell you to write "Get Out" on the mirror?
No, I would never scare that lovely woman who made me tea. No, for that, you should blame Ezra.
Ezra? Ezra Enshaw, who's been dead 100 years?
Look, I know I get confused sometimes, but I have lived next to Enshaw House for 30 years. One thing I know, the ghost of Ezra Enshaw is real.
Nothing.
Lillian, can I speak to you for a second?
Okay, thank you. Bye. So that was my contact at the police station. You were right, Ro. Reggie Harris confessed he was a part of the plot to rob that bank in Corinth with Jeffrey Ware, but he identified someone else as the mastermind. Lyndon Dilger. Lyndon Dilger.
Did not see that coming.
Apparently, Mona confirmed it. She also said that her husband buried the money somewhere on this property.
So on the grounds, not in the house.
That's what it looks like. And Mona's now considered the top suspect for pushing you down the stairs.
I don't know if that jives with the fragile woman that sat across from me this morning.
Did that sound like the rapping you all heard the other day?
Yes, exactly like.
That was Fred hitting the main water pipe with a wrench. Makes the sound echo throughout the house. And as for the flickering lights, go for it, Fred. With the old wiring in the house, it's easy to overwhelm the power capacity and make small surges.
So the haunting of the house has been a hoax all along.
That is our conclusion, yes.
Just as we expected.
It looks like most mysteries can be solved through science after all.
We're gonna keep your mother in custody until we can get her psychological evaluation.
We have to consider the possibility she's been perpetuating the ghost hoax without being aware of exactly what she's doing.
Would you feel comfortable giving us a list of her doctors?
Yeah, I can email that to you when I get home, but however confused she is, I can't imagine my mother doing anything that would harm someone. Push a man down the stairs? I don't believe it.
Well, you don't believe that your father could have killed someone either. What if we prove that's exactly what he did?
I don't think that you will.
She could be right about her mother. Mona Dilger's so scattered, I'm not sure she's capable of carrying out a complex hoax, which would mean whoever shoved Nick is still running around out there.
Let's get confirmation on the whereabouts of our other suspects.
So there really is no ghost here.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that.
We're only saying that the phenomena we all experienced in this house was clearly faked.
Then you found the speakers.
I don't know what you mean. We didn't find any speakers.
There have to be speakers in the house. There's no other explanation for the music.
Music? You never mentioned anything about music?
Well, I didn't hear any music.
Neither did I.
Me either. Only Nick and Ro have heard it.
Yes, that's it. That's the song.
Did you tap into the house somehow?
No, this music was mentioned in Frank Brunelli's notes. Several people relayed to him it was a song played at Ezra Enshaw's wedding.
Yes, I remember that. Supposedly, only people who are in love can hear this music.
Well, it's a lovely story.
But we're pretty sure there's speakers somewhere in here.
Yes, I'm sure there are, but that's for another day. Thank you so much, Lillian, Zachary. Thank you.
We'll come back anytime, Aida.
Okay.
I'm not convinced this house is clean. Of spirits.
I appreciate that. But I'm taking a break from ghosts for a while. Philip, let's go.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.
Bye, Mother. Bye, Philip.
Oh,
Night.
lock up when you leave.
Not sure what good that'll do.
All right, thanks. Okay, we know where Tom Wilkie and Reggie Harris are, but it seems Anthony Brunelli slicked his tail.
Let's put out an APB on him. We'll have to head back to Henshaw House.
So no ghosts.
You know, I think I'm actually a little disappointed.
I'm almost disappointed for you.
Well, let me know if you hear the music again. Kind of gives me hope. Good night.
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 You know, that music could be a clue. Because whoever planned the hoax must have known about that particular song.
And must have read about it in Frank Brunelli's notes.
Could that be why his brother Anthony burned them? Hey, who brought down the painting of Ezra? Didn't walk downstairs by itself.
Maybe one of the ghost hunters moved it. You know, Lillian would probably say Ezra's trying to tell us something.
I'll play along. All right, Ezra. What are you trying to tell us? The windmill. Look at the doodle on this paper. If I finish this doodle like this, it looks like...
The windmill, like the one at the bottom of the property.
Exactly. Add that to the X. Nick, this paper's a map. These symbols must be trees.
Exactly. Lyndon, Dilger, and Jeffrey Ware buried the stolen money out here. And they must have drawn up that map so they could find it again.
Yeah, and I bet Frank Brunelli stumbled upon him when they were burying the money, so they killed him. And then they hid his body in the secret room.
Yeah, and that map must have fallen from one of their pockets and slid down the side of the stairs.
Yes. And then they came back outside to finish the job, and they probably got into an argument about the money, or maybe Dilger didn't trust Ware to keep his mouth shut.
Right. So he killed him, too. You know, living with that kind of pressure, it's no wonder he had a heart attack a few days later.
Yeah, and then he never had a chance to come back for the money. But Mona knew it was out here somewhere, and Reggie eventually figured it out. But would Anthony Brunelli have had a chance to... Oh, wait. Okay, there's the windmill. That dead tree must be this mark right there, right next to the X. I think we found it. I think this is the spot. I'm sure of it.
Okay, time to call in.
Wait. You know she avoids taking me seriously. Do you really think she's gonna believe this paper full of squiggles is a map that the ghost of Ezra Enshaw helped us figure out?
It does sound crazy.
Yeah.
I'll grab a shovel. Maybe we can dig down and find something more concrete to show her.
Okay, I'll start taking photos to document the whole thing. Someone already started digging. I knew it was you! Tamara, don't do this.
It was taking me forever to find the buried money. I was getting pretty desperate, so I suppose I should thank you. Your mother told you about it? No, my mother doesn't understand anything happening right now. Her dementia's getting so bad, and it was only when I moved back in a few months ago that I found an old journal she kept.
So you read about your father robbing the bank, and you came out to look for the money he buried.
After my dad's life insurance money ran out, my mom let the debts pile up, and she can't be left alone. We need that money. It's just been sitting out here, under the ground for decades. My father died for that money.
But your father killed for that money.
You don't know that. All I can do is find the money and try to help my mother. I might have found it already and no one the wiser.
My mother hadn't have bought the house.
My mother's journal was muddled about where the money was buried. It said my father had drawn a map but lost it somewhere in the house, so yeah. I was trying to scare you all away so that I could get the map, which you now clearly have, and find the money.
Well, we don't scare easily. Tamara, don't do this. Just don't make it worse. You haven't done anything that terrible. You can still walk away.
The police are gonna let me just walk away. They won't care that I didn't mean for your husband to fall down the stairs when I pushed him. They won't care that I just didn't want him to see me. They will arrest me and my life will be ruined.
But Nick, it's fine.
And it doesn't matter. We need that money now more than ever, so that I can go away and stay gone. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. But you put yourself in my way. And I need that map.
Put the shovel down, Tamara! Bro!
Hey, wait!
Drop that shovel, Tamara! Drop it now!
Anyway, it all seems to be resolved now, so come by whenever you like. Okay.
I'd like to thank you all for helping solve the mystery of my brother's death. You know, after years of feeling rather bitter, I'm now more at peace with Frank's, how should I put it? His spirit.
Oh, that does my heart good to hear.
Lynn released this, and we wanted to make sure you got it. Your brother was carrying the ring with him when he died. Clearly, he meant to give it to you.
Thank you. This really means a lot.
Your phone's ringing, Aunt Ada.
Oh, that's all right. You can go to voicemail. Oh, it's Charles. I'm gonna take it. But Aurora, could you please turn down the music? Hi. Hey.
I don't hear any music.
Me either.
I hear it. My mother is in love.
And I hear it too. I've reconsidered my stance on ghosts. I think Ezra Enshaw really might still be here, lingering with his bride.
Well, if anything's stronger than death, of course it would be love.
One of life's mysteries, right, Professor?
Indeed.
Now, allow me to walk you out, Anthony.
Oh, I'll walk with you. I have a few more questions for my story. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm gonna head out too. I need to find myself some of that music.
All right.
Really is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.